So we got cut off and we're back. We were talking about political parties and whether I celebrate like a political party or something bigger or whatever. Um, I guess I celebrate the big stuff and I also celebrate the other stuff. And I because I have such a um oh gosh, I'm missing the word, a Genesis 3 view of human nature. um when all the cool kids are going one way and I oftentimes just stop right there and I think I don't know if that's the right way. And I see all the cool kids, they don't like Republicans. So I stop and I think about it. And it reminds me of being in 7th grade when everybody was rolling up their jeans. All of a sudden, they were rolling up their jeans and I thought, why are we doing this? So yes, I'm the kid in My Bodyguard with the messed up hair who's getting picked on, and I need a bodyguard. Um, I'm not the cool kid, to say the least. I am not the cool kid. You can
Yeah.
see it in my subscribers. I don't have a lot of subscribers.
Mhm.
And it's so funny that like Republicans they think I'm getting checks from the Koch Foundation or something. I mean, they're just such idiots. Like, you have no idea the crap I get from all sides. It's nonstop. And I just try to say what I think, and I think it'll be a good, useful record. And I want people to think for themselves. And I don't like censorship. I don't like people telling me how to talk. And I don't try to do that with anybody else. I just like to have, conversations and try to have a learning resource. And so I think that answers your question about July 4th, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And I think the learning resource that you're providing is great too. It's, Jesus says, "He that has ears to hear, let him hear." He didn't force. He's has a remarkable strategy of saying, if your heart isn't open to me, then I'm not the guy you want to listen to. Just keep going on your merry way. I'm only looking for people who want to grow, people who are
Mhm.
open. And even, for Jesus, of course, he's telling the truth all the time. But for you and I, it's like, if I'm not telling the truth, I want to be corrected in the right way. I mean, come at me with a course correction, because I'm more committed to the truth than to my idea of it.
Mm.
So I think that a great deal of humility and creativity is necessary for us to
Mhm.
do that, and we have to be courageous to keep doing it. And I love that you keep going despite all the. It's like one of my friends said, it's kind of like plowing concrete, trying to get people to think outside their own paradigms.
Yeah.
But if we don't speak up, we'll lose everything we celebrate on July 4th. So whether you're under tyranny or not, you got to keep standing up, because that's nothing else is worthy of you as a human being than to try to practice being free and promoting it. I mean, I remember Solzhenitsyn would say that the problem with communism is not its economic system, as horrible as that is, but that it's unworthy of human life.
Hmm.
It's too small. Human beings can't be contained in this trifly little tiny Gnostic worldview.
Yeah.
So we keep speaking up, and may we be as loud as the fireworks.
I had a set of friends when for a couple of years before we started the podcast. It was a couple of friends of mine that got this thing going.
Yeah.
They chipped in money to do it, and they put in a lot of effort. I had another friend of mine that put up the website and hired somebody to do it, and I was at such a low point at that time that I really felt I couldn't do it myself. I had no
Mm-hmm.
confidence. I had I had just had my ass kicked on the campuses for almost 20 years.
I get it. I totally get it.
And we were in the
You're
middle
burned
of this
out, and
public health panic and the craziness in the middle of all that. And and I don't think I could have done it without them, to be honest
yeah,
with you.
yeah,
And we had a long conversations about what to call it. And A long, many
I'm
cigars
sure.
talking
I'm
about
sure.
things, and and ended up on Republican Professor because I felt like it was the most accurate. And I mean, we talk about conservative professor, American,
Yeah.
this and that,
Yeah.
and it's
I
just like,
know.
well, I don't know. I think the Democrats are Americans too. They're just not Republicans.
Yeah.
I think the slaveholders were Americans. You can't deny it. The plantations exist. They were in America.
Mhm.
And that doesn't mean that I'm happy with Romney and McCain. you know, I mean, I'm looking at, yeah, I know. It makes me sad. It's painful.
Yeah.
It's painful for me to listen to Paul Krugman, and he has a point. I mean, Romney Care or whatever, and listen to what's that guy's name? Tom Woods, Contra
Hmm.
Krugman.
Hmm.
He's got, he's got valid points. It's painful, and I'm also in the Second Amendment world here, and it's painful for me to watch
Oh,
sometimes how short the attention span is on
yeah.
things with these
You're right.
guys.
But the tricky thing is, I think for us as human beings, another part of the fall, for as screwed up as we are, one of the things we're screwed up in is that we always have a purity test. We
Mhm.
love running into purity. So it's like, well, I want to do this, but as long as there's no bad actors have ever been involved in it ever in the history of mankind. And it's like that's such a goofy test. So, what is it Aristotle said? You can never judge a thing by its abuses, but we
Yeah,
judge things by its abuses all the time.
that's right.
So yeah, republicanism has been abused. If you look to the heart of what the ideal is, there's so much to extract, and so many people have done good work developing it. It's not just a simple little statement somebody wrote out. They're like, economics need to be this way because this is how it works.
Hmm.
It's to merely dismiss it the way they do on the campuses. It beats you up after a while because you're talking to immature, undeveloped people. It's like trying to teach puppy dogs how to be an adult, and they're just not going to get there. And the expectations we have that they would get there, maybe are optimistic, but I totally understand. And I think it's great you're the public professor because you're trying to redeem something that you find redeemable, and you just stand
Yeah.
firmly on it and keep going.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. I There is a little bit of enjoyment, and I say a little because it's not enough to like sustain me like a great movie or something that makes me laugh.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me laugh that much, but it is slightly entertaining to me, in a kind of a painful way, to watch people respond to the name Republican Professor. It's so funny to me,
Yeah.
in a slight way. It's kind of painful too because I'm trying to do something here, but you'll see, you know, like if I invite a Democrat on, you can tell they want to complain about it, but then it's like, what is there to complain about? I told you where I'm coming from.
That's
Like
right. That's right. There's no
I'm not,
ambush, right?
yeah, I'm just, this is just where I'm coming from. I mean, if you don't like that I'm defending the dictionary definition of marriage, not only do you have a problem with the English language, but yeah, you have a problem with just people just being honest about where
That's
they're
right.
coming from. And then on the other side, like for example, like there's some people I think at Biola University where we both went to school
Hmm.
that are very nervous about the name Republican. They'd rather have it.
Hmm.
They'd rather it be conservative.
Sure.
It's we're a little conservative.
Oh,
Without
that comes with
realizing
its own baggage, though. I mean,
that's what
it's
I'm
a
saying.
gigantic. Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying is I like on on the campuses, I didn't really get any kind of panic if people thought I was conservative.
Hmm.
But if I said I was a Republican, they would lose their beep. They would start throwing feces at me, like,
Pavlovian.
you know, yeah. And so I thought, oh man, I'm onto something here.
That's right.
I've done a lot of thinking about it, and I think it's because people think of conservatives as just ineffective politically.
Yeah.
They just think of them as, okay, all right, well, you're
Backwards
you're
goofballs.
you're a bigot, you're a phobe or whatever, you're an idiot, but you might be nice, but you're kind of racist or whatever stupid epithet they come up with.
Sure.
But you're not a threat. Whatever
Yeah,
you
that's
are,
right.
you're not a threat. But if
Yeah.
you say you're
Republicans a threat.
Republican, you're a threat,
Yeah. Yeah.
because Republicans have actually held office. And every
Yeah.
once in a while Republicans win. And that's the thing we can't, And did you see the reaction to McCain and Romney? I mean, that's my point. Even McCain and Romney,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
were throwing a fit.
Yeah.
I saw it firsthand. They were like, Romney, oh man, he's a racist, 47%, blah, blah. He said something about 47% one time. They
Yeah.
were
Don't
like
pay
throwing
taxes.
their
That's what he
feces. They,
said.
they were like, throwing their feces. And you know, I was like, oh wow. It's almost like a demonic reaction.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, huh. And then when Trump comes along, they're like, oh my
Oh,
God, Romney, he's such a statesman.
I
He's such a decent man. And same with Bush.
know.
I
Yeah.
just was like noticing. I mean, they didn't have a huge reaction to Arnold Schwarzenegger. They just kind of made fun of him. But I started teaching when Schwarzenegger was governor, but look at him. He's when the public health panic came on, he was like, screw your freedom.
That's right.
And he was like, he was just another statist, and no
That's
wonder.
right.
But they still don't want him to ever be elected again.
Yeah.
Look how they're reacting to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. What do you think about him?
Sure. I think that standing next to Biden, he looks amazing.
You mean
But apart,
he's attractive? Is that what you're saying?
he's attractive.
We're
I've seen,
still in June.
the
We're still in June.
the pictures of him working out, are making their rounds on the internet. But I think that he is good on the medical side of things. But in general, I see his responses to even the Supreme Court rulings that happened this week. I'm just like, this guy's not thought very, very well about some very important things. So I think he's rather flimsy on all the stuff that I care about. I mean, good for him speaking up about the COVID stuff, and he's dealing with medical malpractice, dealing with vaccinations. That is his area, and I'm really glad that he can speak out about it. But as far as like somebody that can be a broad ruler of what the country needs, I don't see him as a liberty person.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what I like about him. I like that he has been censored before, and so he knows what it's like. And
Sure.
I think that is it's a good sign. Um, but like what you're saying, well, when I see, I saw this meme on Instagram where they were like, people think he's based, and it's a picture of Robert F. Kennedy doing push-ups or whatever with his shirt off.
Yeah.
People think he's
Yeah.
based, but then you're just an idiot. Both parties suck. And I was like, whoa, that doesn't. No. If you thought he was based, you forgot he was a Democrat. He's a Democrat.
Right. Right.
That's why he had the views on guns and stuff that he has, is because he's still a Democrat, and he can't help it. And he's better than the other ones, but he's there's not a single Democrat that are on our side on the gun stuff.
No.
At least at
And
the federal.
I'm even
court.
hearing, I haven't done a deep dive yet, but many criticizing that he's not even a Kennedy Democrat. He's gone way. I mean, it's in the water. You can't be a 1960s Kennedy Democrat and think about liberty the way you do. He would have already become a Republican.
Yeah. I saw a great, I mean, I shared it on Instagram, and my millions of followers, I'm sure, were amazed at this. That they he was in San Francisco and he was complaining about what the lockdowns did to all these businesses. And he was like, there's Barney's, and there's, you know, in his voice, he's like, there's Disney,
Yeah.
there's this, and he's like, all these great American companies. And I was like, oh, okay, right there, right there, you just showed your Democrat.
Yeah.
They're not great companies. Yes, it's sad that they got closed down. I mean,
Yeah. No.
I don't want that to happen to business owners either. But no, Disney was a great company. You know,
Yeah.
Barney's, I don't know if it ever was. You know, I mean, I'm like, that you could just tell he just kind of, eh, he let it all hang out a little bit too much
Yeah.
there.
Sure. Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah, we'll
I know,
see. I mean, I'm of the strong persuasion that the bureaucrats run Washington, not elected officials, and so it's like
yep,
there could be some influence that they get there, but unless we have elected representatives that are there to represent us and not the party and not their pocketbook, and they have to have a ton of courage to say I'm going to put it on the line and be willing not to be elected again. I'm willing to let all these bureaucracies start attacking me with their enormous budgets and their capturing the media. I just don't see a very good way forward. So I understand that people would say it doesn't matter if you don't vote because the FBI and the CIA and the ATF and the IRS are going to keep doing what they do. But unless somebody could step in and say, my vote counts because we're going to start holding these things accountable and we're going to rewind some of their tyranny, then I'm like, yeah, I'll get behind anybody who does that.
me too. I'm going on record. I'm with you. Me too.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
if Kennedy started, I mean, I like the skepticism about big pharma. I like the skepticism
Yeah.
about that drugs are the way forward and all this other stuff. Like instead of just taking control of your own health,
Yeah.
you know. And I like the skepticism of the experts. I like that. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
but you know, I don't think he would give a rat's rear end what the ATF does. You
That's
know,
right. I don't think
or
so.
the AFT. And both of those
Right.
are like true
That's
threats to our liberty, you know.
yeah, people translate that skepticism to say, hey, it's not just big pharma that's an issue here.
Yeah.
It's not just the lockdown. So that this stuff actually came from a deeper problem. And
Yeah.
if he could just start translating that across the board, there's hope. There's hope. But he's got to have a lot more courage and knowledge to do that.
Put it this way, if he hired at Charting Liberty as a consultant,
Yeah. Yep.
I might vote for him. And I'm
Okay.
saying that as the Republican professor. I'm saying that.
Right.
That
Right.
I might
Well,
vote
if he
for a
hired me,
Democrat.
there might be hope that he could get the job done,
Yeah. So happy 4th.
Happy 4th. Well, it's always good talking to you, Lucas.
It's always good
It's always
talking
good
to you
talking to you.
too,
Yeah.
Dale.